Afternoon, everyone. I sat on the sofa last night and watched Rashford smash home that penalty in the 93rd minute or whatever it was, in amazement. I was enthralled, captivated by just a really special occasion, I guess, for Manchester United. And if you're a football fan of any persuasion, support any club, you can't help but watch something like that. Watch those young players celebrate together with the fans. Watch the reaction to it. It was incredible. You can't help but be moved a little bit by that and inspired. There were some lessons that I think are important to kind of call out in what they achieved last night, but what Solskjaer and that football club have done in the last few weeks since he took over. And I just wanted to call some of them out because I think they can be applied to any football context, any club at any level, and they really focus around culture and leadership. Culture and leadership are two words that get used quite cheaply without necessarily explaining what they mean in a football context sometimes. And to be clear, by culture I mean the way that everyone in an organisation behaves, and by leadership I mean the influence that the person at the top of the organisation has on everyone beneath them, the command, the responsibility that they take on board, the way that they behave and the way that they then inspire everyone else to operate, the way they organise everyone to operate. Solskjaer has been outstanding as a leader, outstanding as a football leader, but more as a leader of people. His communication skills are I think almost perfect for the situation. He's pretty savvy, so he picks up on the importance of the history of the club. He picks up on the responsibility that he has and that everyone who represents that club has. And he also gets lots of positive messages out about the group, the players that he has at his disposal. He thinks that they're capable of achieving a lot, both the superstars as well as the young players coming through. So the confidence that gives them all, I think, is terrific. And I think every message that he puts out there appeals to the fans. If, like me, you're fairly independent, you listen to what he says, it can maybe sound a little bit boring at times. But that's just savvy PR. He's repeating the messages that he thinks are critically important to the success of the football club and his own success. So he has observed, I guess, the culture of Manchester United Football Club. He's used what he has at his disposal. So, for example, having Sir Alex Ferguson to call upon to come in the dressing room once in a blue moon and just say a few well considered words to the players, or a few words of encouragement, or a little bit of congratulations after a game. He has some significant resources, respected resources at his disposal, and he's using them really intelligently. So his leadership for me has been incredible. Football leadership and management and the role of a head coach is not just about what they do on the training ground and then picking a team and then what they do in a game, although he's doing all of that very well. It's about leading people, leading an organisation, empowering other people to lead as well. So the likes of Mike Phelan and Michael Carrick and Paul McGuinness, these kind of guys are clearly having an impact on this journey, because he's empowering them to do that. He's surrounded himself with very good people, and as a result, everyone's succeeding. But everyone's together. So the difference between the players in terms of their output under Mourinho and under Solskjaer, it's incredible. I think that the output physically is almost twice as much as it was before. Those shirts at the end of each game, I think you could wring them out and get twice as much sweat out of them as you could under Mourinho, and that's simply because one of his key values is that you play the game with a responsibility, that you behave as a player out on that pitch in a way that demonstrates just how important it is to you, just how important you consider the responsibility to wear a Manchester United shirt is. And they're all playing with a hunger and a desire, and an enjoyment through that hunger and desire and that hard work. They're enjoying it, they're loving it, they want to do more. Success breeds success, and hard work is kind of like it's catching amongst that group, and every single one of them is clearly motivated to such high levels at the moment. It's fantastic to see. Mourinho obviously was a completely different type of leader. He may be successful again in the game. You could say his methods are outdated, but he divided and conquered. He didn't necessarily put a huge amount of value on how much time he spent on togetherness, on cohesion. He was quite happy actually to play almost reverse psychology, almost work reverse psychology, and kind of alienate certain players, certain certain aspects of the job, to hopefully get where he wanted to get, but he never got there. So I now look at Solskjaer and just, as everyone else does, and just a huge admiration for the job he's done, and the culture that he's helped to develop, because it was already there to some degree, but he's tapped into it and he's developed it somewhat with the group that they've got. Staff, players, fans, they're all on the same page. It is a united, excuse the pun, but it is a united football club at the moment. How that goes in the future, I'm not entirely sure. When results start to go against them, it's going to be really important that they repeat the processes, that they repeat the values. So the non-negotiables, the hard work, the respect, the togetherness, the basics will never change, I'm sure, under Solskjaer. But he will have to adapt, I'm sure, as and when they bring new players in, they change players, the results don't go their way, whatever it is. But if everyone is on the same page in a football club, it's amazing how much you can achieve. Amazing how much you can achieve. You look at the young players that they had out on the pitch last night as an example. No one would have thought that a team fielding young inexperienced kids like that would be able to beat a side like PSG and go through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But when you have the culture to support you, when you have those foundations, it's achievable. It's clearly achievable. Any club can do this. If you're a director of a club or a committee member or a board member or a chairman and you're listening to this, any club can do this. You don't always pick the right leader immediately. You might have to kiss a few frogs to find your prince, but in the end, whatever happens, whoever you appoint, you need to get behind them, give them the time, evaluate their performance, evaluate and give them the time frame, agree, make sure everyone is on the same page, and get behind them. Make sure the fans understand the importance of getting behind them. Make sure the tea lady understands the importance of getting behind them. And if they're a good leader, then they will also motivate those people to get on board as well. They will do their bit, you do your bit, and if everyone's together, you've got a chance of achieving something and improving the position of your football club. Repeating behaviours day in, day out, over a long period of time, will get success. Incredible how quickly Solskjaer and United have had success since they made the change. But in general, it's not rocket science. It really isn't. Have a plan, stick to it. Have values that everyone buys into. Have a culture that everyone understands. Impress upon the players, impress upon the people involved in that culture to understand their role within it, what it means, how it affects how they should behave and perform day in, day out. And then keep repeating it. I think just quickly on the football side of things, Solskjaer's obviously tactically made a few changes. For example, he'll drop central midfielders a little bit deeper to allow the wide players to get on, or one central midfielder. But in general, he likes his players to be a little bit higher up the pitch. In doing that, he's basically sending a message to the defensive players to say, I trust you to deal with it. If it breaks down and they counter-attack in attacking transition, then I trust you to deal with a 1v1 while the other players get back in. I trust you to make good decisions. I trust you to compete well enough. I trust you to go and intercept. I trust you to do these jobs, defensive jobs, that allow our attacking players to go play. At the same time, he's telling the attacking players, your responsibility is to go score goals, to create chances, to be positive, keep making mistakes, keep making runs. It's not all going to go for you, but keep doing it because it will come. He's not saying to them, your job is to press here, to sit in this area when we haven't got the ball, to spend 80% of his time focusing on structure. He's saying, you're a great player, go show us what you can do. And simple message, but it's working. There are people out there much more informed than I am on the specifics of how the tactics have changed under Solskjaer, but what I would say is that he's demonstrated in-game, in 2 or 3 games that I've seen over the last 2 months, that he can change things. He can recognise the pattern of a game. He can recognise when the pattern of a game is going against United, and he's made changes. Bailly last night was a great example, obviously. Difficult decisions, but he doesn't think twice about them. If it's the right decision, he makes it, he gets on with it, and he expects everyone to buy in. And again, that's just strong, effective leadership. So yeah, I mean, he's got the players happy, which is in my opinion much more influential than a small tactical tweak. Much more influential. Happy players you can get twice as much out of. A small tactical tweak you might get 10% more in terms of the overall performance of the team. So the happy players he made that priority. He's got that. He's maintaining that atmosphere in the dressing room and that cohesion, and then he's obviously making tweaks as and when in game, probably with the helps of Field and Carrick and McGuinness. And he's also bringing through young players, and again that's tipping his hat to the football club. It's probably something that he believes in, I think, but it's clearly something that football club over the years has had success with, and that's creating or building teams using the nucleus of players that have been developed within the club's academy. And I think there's a masterstroke in terms of PR, but it's not just PR. It's about developing human beings. It's about managing people. It's about giving them confidence. It's about not overexposing them, but giving them opportunities a little bit earlier to demonstrate that he has that confidence in them. So the overall, the overall point of my message on this quick video is leadership. Leadership is so critical, and Solskjaer is getting that right. And I think any leaders out there need to look at how he's going about it, take the simple lessons about the key messages and values that you have that are non-negotiable, and then the tweaks and the priority in which you focus on your own work on a day-to-day basis and a long-term basis as well. And then the second thing is, everyone has to buy in. Everyone buys in. Everyone gets behind that man at the top. Everyone is motivated by that top, but everyone supports each other within the food chain. You achieve so much more. TEAM. Yes, it's a cheesy acronym, but together everyone achieves more. And it's amazing how many times you see splits in a dressing room. You see splits in terms of coaching teams. You see fans disagreeing with each other, disagreeing with the club, the chairman disagreeing with the manager. All that does is derail any positive work that you do. Be positive, stay positive. If things happen, that's fine. If negatives arise, deal with them. Don't ponder on them. Don't spend too much time on them. Deal with them. If you have to tweak something, make a tweak. Do it quickly. If it's a difficult decision for a player, a difficult decision about anything, disciplinary, whatever it is, get it done and get it positive and get back on the pathway of moving forward. And as I say, I can't. It's very difficult for me to hide my admiration for what they're doing as a football club, and my admiration really stems from one thing, and that's the behaviour of the players on the pitch. They reflect a huge change. They reflect the influence that Solskjaer has. They reflect the success. They reflect all the values of a successful team, and I admire that immensely, regardless of any tactical changes, regardless of any other kind of subplots. The way the players conduct themselves on the pitch is hugely impressive to me. Okay, have a good day, everyone. Cheers.